Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
You ready?
It's the queen of royal badness.
It's time for the Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Highlighting people and things you should know about.
Robin's got you covered. Follow Robin at Robin Ayers. You're listening to the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
Robin's got a lot to talk about.
Sean Carter was born December 4th, weighing in at 10 pounds, 8 ounces. He was the last of my 4 children, the only one who didn't give me any pain when I gave birth to him. And that's how I knew that he was a special child.
Hi, baby. What's wrong? You look like you've lost your best friend. Tell me, is it something that I've done again? Look like you've lost your best friend.
They say they never really miss you till you dead or you gone. So on that note, I'm leaving after the song. So you ain't gotta feel no way about Jay so long. But at least let me tell you why I'm this way. Hold on. I was conceived by Gloria Carter and Agnes Reeves, who made love under the sycamore tree, which makes me a more sicker MC. And my mama would claim at 10 pounds when I was born, I didn't give her no pain.
You are inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580, where we bring you the latest in entertainment news, trending topics, and interviews. I'm your host, Robin Ayers, with you Monday through Friday. Happy Monday to you all. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I hope it was chill, or I hope it was hyped, whatever you like, whatever is your vibe. I hope you did all of that and more. I am looking forward to having a great show today, but so much always happens. So much is always going on. So I will get those updates in for you very, very soon. But I did want to welcome you all. I see you all joining me in the YouTube right now. And if you want to call in today, you could do that. You can call 1-800-920-1580. Or you can do like everybody else is doing over here on YouTube and join us over there at KBLA 1580 as well. And listen, I haven't said this in a while, but you should be following us on social media. It's a good idea. At KBLA 1580, you should be following me too. Because, it's fun. It's fun to look at, who I am behind closed doors. Okay, it looks like it is a happy birthday for Forrest Harrison over here in our YouTube, one of our faithful Raw Report listeners. I know I wished you a happy birthday. I guess it was about a month or so ago, but it wasn't quite your birthday yet. But we want to say happy birthday to you, Forrest. He has always been holding us down over here, so we appreciate you. And you share a birthday with Jay-Z. Wow, happy birthday, Jay-Z. Happy birthday to Tyra Banks, too. Now, that sounds like a boss day. That sounds like that's a nice day, Andy. Andy, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope it was mellow or, chill, whatever. What's your vibe?
It was mellow. It was chill. Hit the beach. Did a little grounding. You feel me?
Ooh, what you know about that grounding though?
Come on now. Health is wealth, right?
Andy's that guy though. Andy's always about, different things. I like that. Taking your socks and your shoes off and getting your feet on something with the ground, sand, grass, the ground itself. A lot of people do that. So yeah, definitely. That's very, very cool, Andy. Let's get to some updates. So again, we said our happy birthdays. I do want to say a happy Founders Day. I don't know if there are any men who listen to me who were a part of the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. I think that's a pretty big deal. And I know there's so much pride in fraternities and that brotherhood. So shout out to them. Lenny Kravitz, we spoke about him. We did an entire show on Lenny Kravitz and what was supposed to be Black media and sort of the issues of Black media. We talked about it, but he's now put out a statement and he clarified. I won't read the entire thing, but he says that basically it's not against Black media. He's specifically referring to Black award shows in particular. He said, my comment was meant to express a concern about ensuring that Black artists are being recognized for their work in what was now being called non-traditional Black music, which it is not. I agree with him. I hear what he's saying. I still agree that all, including BET, which was mentioned in his interview, should be extending an invitation, if not just for attending the BET Awards, certainly to perform at them. I think that would be outstanding. So hopefully they will come to some sort of happy medium. But I will say that storyline of Lenny Kravitz and his team not accepting Black media interviews and stories with Black media, I will say that has become more of a conversation now. You can go to my Instagram and I put up a clip about the Lenny Kravitz thing, and people are saying things in there as well. Erica Campbell and Warren Campbell's daughter. Okay, remember we talked about this as well. She was the young girl, their daughter, who did that Nationwide Is on Your Side. She made it go viral, that song that... what is it? It's a jingle. It's a jingle. Yeah, she made the jingle go viral. Well, they turned around because we said she needs to be compensated somehow. They went ahead and said, you know what? We're going to put you in a nationwide commercial. So shout out to Zaya, Erica Campbell's daughter, for landing a commercial with Nationwide. She's like, pay me my money. Please run me my money. Thank you. Deion Sanders and his fiancee, Tracy Edmonds, they have split after 12 years. That is not good news. I love love. I'm always a lover of love and never really want to see anybody split. But they say that it's for the best and they will remain friends. Also, Will Smith has confirmed that I Am Legend sequel is coming to us. We are getting ready to see an I Am Legend sequel with him starring Michael B. Jordan, which I think is a really dope combination. I think that's going to be dope. I don't know about the movie itself. I wasn't necessarily an I Am Legend fan. I know that it was a pretty big movie, but I would love to see the two of them on screen together, so we'll see what that looks like. And speaking of Michael B. Jordan, he was recently involved in a car accident where he crashed his Ferrari in Hollywood. What's going on, sir? Sir, what's up? They say that they did not notice that he was intoxicated or anything like that. So we don't know. I mean, fame, and people be treating people differently. We all know that. That's no secret. But we don't know. I'm not saying that the man was intoxicated, but it is said that he crashed his Ferrari into a parked car, but nobody was hurt. And that's that on that. We don't know if anything else is going to come out of that. Let's go ahead and get into the Raw report, though, Andy.
Now it's time for a breakdown.
So Nelly and Ashanti are pregnant. Okay, well, Ashanti is pregnant by Nelly. It's a big story, and I'll tell you why it's a big story, because they have spun the block on love, and people always talk about leaving your exes alone. They were once together for many years, and they had a long-standing split from one another, a 10-year split from one another. Then they got back together, and now all is well with Nelly and Ashanti, and they are pregnant and expecting a child. That hit the news today. Everybody's talking about it. But I want to talk about that. I want to know when or if it is a good idea to spin the block on love, what that looks like, and can that sort of can that narrative can that be trending for a while? Because everybody's always talking about getting rid of the exes and whatnot. I don't know. We'll see. We're also going to talk about Shirley Lee Ralph, who is moving in with her husband. That sounds funny. I'll tell you what that's all about with our wonderful contributor that we have calling on the line today. I'm excited to have this conversation with him. We'll get to all of that on the other side. You are listening to The Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay there.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Eric Bellinger hanging out right here with my family at The Raw Report. Keep it locked.
You're inside The Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Meet LA's most affordable health plan. This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is proud to offer the lowest cost health plans in Los Angeles County, featuring zero cost preventive services to help you achieve your wellness goals. Be part of the region's largest HMO network, featuring UCLA Health, Optum, and allied physicians without breaking the bank. We are here to help. Call us at 855-222-4239 for enrollment assistance. That's 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered. Your wellness, our mission.
All right, so there we were, cruising through the new open-air zoo, when I realized that the park was closing in like 15 minutes. Luckily, we were in my Nissan Rogue. With its powerful VC turbo engine, well, we had time to see all the animals. Whoa! And outrun a few!
Drive the Nissan Rogue.
Girl, I have a secret. When I get stressed out, I get sweaty. That's why I use Secret Clinical Antiperspirant. It's like my own secret weapon. For 72 hours, I get Secret's strongest protection against sweat caused by stress, heat, and activity, because you know how crazy life can get. Plus, it's made with advanced odor fighters that don't just cover up smelliness. They help prevent it from happening in the first place. Believe me, if I weren't wearing Secret, I'd be a hot, smelly mess. Thankfully, Secret works.
Giving you your daily dose of entertainment and celebrity news. You're inside The Raw Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, so I have a question of the day, and this is inside of our YouTube chat. And the question really comes from the fact that, you know, Jay-Z, everybody announced that it was Jay-Z's birthday today, and he is 50. Did I miss it already? 54, 5, 6, 57. How? No, he's 54. I want to say he's 54. 54. Okay, Jay-Z is 54 years old. And the question was, when do most men truly establish themselves mentally, spiritually, and financially? Is it between 30 and 40 years old? Is it between 40 and 50, or is it 50 and up? So I want you guys to answer that. Give me your thoughts. We don't know. And obviously this is a guess, and we're saying men, not all men, but most men. And someone who can answer this question for me himself is the one who we have on the line today, joining us for the Raw Report. Please welcome our entertainment contributor, Chris Gunther, to the show. Chris, always a pleasure to have you on. How are you?
Robin, peace and love. Appreciate you for having me once again.
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming on today. And you know, Chris, I have to ask you this question, and I don't need to know your age. I just need to know your thoughts on when you feel most men are truly established, meaning, you know, mentally they've got the mental fortitude. They are, you know, grounded. They're spiritually, you know, sound. Financially, they are established. When do you think? Is it 30 to 40, 40 to 50, or 50 and up?
I'm going to say 50 and up because 30 is still very young. You know, you still trying to figure out, you know, what can I do differently than I did the last 2 decades. Most likely you're trying to clean up the mess that you made in your 20s. So by your 30s, I feel like that's when you start to reach your prime in terms of doing a little bit more. But by 50, you should know the game like the back of your hand. You should know you should know this works for me, this doesn't work for me. If you're 50 years old and still don't know yourself, that is a serious problem.
I know that's right. 50. I wasn't expecting that, though. But you know what? I get that because they say to women, women, things get better later. You know, I keep hearing this phrase, it gets better later. Shout out to Bevy Smith. I know she's the one who really kind of got that going. I love Bevy. I have a story about Bevy later if y'all want to hear it, if we have time. But anyway, so I hear that 50 and older. I want you guys to continue to ask or to answer that inside of the chat. But right now, Chris, let's go ahead and get into the big news of the day, which was the fact that Nelly and Ashanti are obviously back together, but are now expecting a baby. And this is really cute. He has 2 older children, adult children, and she has this will be her first child. And so it's so funny to me because we know that they were together for years. They were probably one of the most loved couples years ago. And then they broke up for about 10 years. He was with another woman whom I really liked his relationship then. But when that relationship with Nelly and his ex-girlfriend ended, I think she was even a fiance at some point. When that ended, he got back with Ashanti. Now they look super happy together and they are expecting. So here's the question, though. They spun the block. Everybody's always talking about don't spin the block on your exes. People have become exes for a reason. At what point is it a good idea to spin the block? What do you need to notice about your ex or something like that in order to actually go there?
Sometimes what happens, you deal with people in a certain season that they are not mentally, or whatever the case is, they're not all the way together yet. And sometimes when you put unrealistic expectations on people at a certain point in their life, chances are y'all not going to work out because the timing just wasn't right. But if it's meant to be, then you can, in some instances, get back together. For example, I know some people that didn't date in high school because they were still, you know, young teenagers trying to figure stuff out. Or they might have tried to date back then and it just didn't work. Fast forward as adults, they, like Nelly did Ashanti, circled the block back together and they've been together ever since. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of growing up. Now, I don't know people that are willing to be with somebody for 10 years, leave them for 10 years, then come back. To me, that's a little bit too much back and forth. However, one of the things I've learned quickly is that people are going to do what they want and it's in their heart. The heart wants what the heart wants. The reason why Nelly probably didn't marry that ex-fiance is because deep in his heart, he knew he was never supposed to leave Ashanti in the first place.
Oh, okay. That's a mic drop. Okay, got it. Well,
notice he didn't waste no time because they only been together for a little bit, and he didn't shot the club all the way up.
Yeah, facts. Very, very much facts. Now, Nelly, who is 49, this is actually this is fitting because we have the question going on about when men, for the most part, are truly established, mentally and all of the things. Now, Nelly has been successful for quite some time, so financially is probably well. Let me backtrack. Financially could still be an issue for men because even if you make a lot of it, even if you make a lot of money, you can still be irresponsible with money. So making money is not necessarily the key to when you become established financially. So Nelly has been successful making money for quite some time. I don't know spiritually or mentally if he had been ready or if he was there, but the man is 49 years old. Ashanti is 43. And the question is really, people are looking at them like, should we use them as an example of when something could work out? Now, we know that it's only been within a year that they've been back together. But, for again, these days, it's almost like nobody's going to be left. You know what I mean? You dating these people, you get over it, you move on, and nobody wants to revisit an older relationship. But it's possible that people can just grow up. Maybe they were a good catch. They just weren't ready, and they just needed to gain some mental fortitude or establish themselves, right?
That is not 100% wrong. You're 100% right in that, because sometimes what happens is, just like you said, you kind of have to just be by yourself for a little bit. And I believe one of the most difficult things that people have to understand is everybody is not for everybody. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the person who you really want, they're not supposed to be with you at all. Or maybe they were supposed to be with you for a season and you wanted to be for a lifetime. Mm-hmm. But in this type of scenario and in this type of situation, you have two people who could not be without each other. I mean, just got to be 100% real. Mm-hmm. I hate talking about people's personal lives, but once you put this stuff out there for public consumption, then we're allowed to form a lot of opinions on it. Mm-hmm. And the history says it that this was the only person who she really wanted to be with for such a long time. And on the flip side, even though he had another woman after the breakup happened the first time, the reality of it is she just wasn't who he wanted. He wanted Ashanti from the very beginning, and we see it. The heart wants what the heart wants. And as much as we try to fight it, the harder you try to fight it, the harder it's going to come at you.
Interesting. Do you believe in separation? If people are married or if people are, with each other for a long time and they say, listen, we'll still keep that title, we'll still be married, but we're just going to separate for a while because we need a break. Do you believe in that?
No, I do not. And the reason why I don't believe in that is because unless there has been some infidelity or unless there has been some trust issues or lack of commitment, when you marry somebody, you take a vow for better or for worse, and we're going to work this thing out. If we have to separate, my perspective on that is if I'm in this thing, I'm in this thing. Mm-hmm. But once I separate, that means I am separating myself from you, and I'm never coming back. Mm. So if we're going to do this, we're going to work this out. But I promise you, if I take a foot out this door, I'm going to take the other foot with it, and I will never come back here.
Take the other foot with it. Okay. I'm asking because, again, I've said this a million times. We could all say it in unison together. I love love. Robin Ayers loves love, and I have hope, and I'm optimistic about people rekindling their relationships. Mm-hmm. And so, even when we take a look at there's other stories going on in the news right now. Not that I think it is up for public consumption. I don't think that everything is our business, but you're right. I agree. Especially these entertainers who have already shared a certain amount of their life with us. They feel as though now they're indebted to us, that they owe us something, or that they need to continue to put their life out there. So Tia Mowry is an example. Her and Corey Hardrick, who we knew she filed for divorce. And it seems as though things were amicable between them. They were co-parenting their children. They had, I'm not sure if it was actually finalized. I believe their divorce was actually finalized. She got the house out of it. There were several things that we knew that was for the public. We all knew that it was public information. However, over the holiday, they had taken a picture, their family picture. It was the two of them and their two children. And she's leaning in on him in between on his leg, kind of. And obviously, because they put it out there, everybody's going to have their own opinion about it. Something like that. Their children are still fairly young. I believe their oldest son is just a preteen, or right in that preteen stage. Good idea. I mean, that wasn't necessarily a separation. That was, we're full-fledged going through with this divorce. But we don't know, obviously, all of the ins and outs. But when you look at things like that and you're like, okay, if they can mend their relationship and they still have young kids, do we think that that's for the best?
Well, there's a reason why they got divorced. So I think we have to remember that even though they took a picture for the holiday, they want to show that, hey, even though me and my ex-wife are no longer together, we're still going to co-parent and we're still going to treat each other with respect because we have these children. Let's not forget, there's a reason why you guys are divorced. Yeah, it may look good to get back together, but there's a reason why that's your ex-husband or that's your ex-wife. Yeah, we could be cool, we could be friends, but just because we cool or we friends, it don't mean I want to be with you on that kind of level again, because I know what comes with that. The holiday is over with. Let's get back to our regular scheduled program. Now we got to get back to living life. And the stuff that might have irritated you during the marriage might have flared back up over the holidays. Don't get me wrong. I love being married. And God knows I never want to go back to being single. But if, let's just take me out of the equation for a hot second. If I'm with somebody and I'm happily married, but all of a sudden we decide to call it quits and we go our separate ways and we see each other, maybe some old feelings come back. But the number one thing that will not make me go back to them is the reason why I said I can't do this anymore. Yeah, it may look good, but the reality of it is you're an ex for a reason.
So you really that is really your stance on that. You almost sound like you're not necessarily flexible. Maybe all things considered, there could be, I don't know, you tell me, maybe there is something that would make you consider it, but it sounds like you have a pretty strong stance on that.
100%, because everything that looks good is not good. Salt and sugar look the exact same until you taste it. And you got to be very careful because, it may look like a good idea to get back with that person, but sometimes people really do not change. It could be the same person, just in a different year.
You ain't
lying. If you ain't careful, that stuff will suck the life out of you, and you'll look at yourself like, dude, I done wasted how much time because I tried to get back with this person. They said they was going to change, and they're the exact same person, and it didn't work out.
You're right about that. I'm not mad at your reasoning. Okay, well, when we come forward, I do want to get into, there's a comment in the YouTube section that I want to get to, as well as the Cheryl Lee Ralph story. She is moving in with her husband after nearly 20 years. We're going to talk about that. But right now, news, traffic, and sports on the Raw Report. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Denzel Whitaker, and I'm on the Raw Report.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we celebrate Christmas. We celebrate you. Thank you for turning us on this year. Happy holidays.
Wow! Mommy's kissing Santa Claus!
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. Public hearings will be held in New York City over Mayor Adams' control over public schools. Mayor Eric Adams, who is black, is reportedly planning to request that state legislator extend his power over the city school system, which expires in June of 2024. Mayoral control of city schools first came to be in 2002 during Mayor Bloomberg's era after the Board of Education was dissolved. It gives the mayor power to appoint a school chancellor and to enact major educational policies. The U.S. is calling on Israel to avoid civilian casualties in its ongoing fight against Hamas. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin calls it a moral responsibility for Israel to protect civilians in Gaza, and Vice President Kamala Harris said too many innocent Palestinians have already been killed in the conflict. Israel has vowed to destroy Hamas once and for all since it launched an attack on October 7th. That's the latest. I'm Amber Payton on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network.
In Sherman Oaks, a crash on the 405 North connected to the 101 South has the right shoulder blocked with traffic backed up from the 10 freeway, and the 210 East before Santa Anita Avenue in Arcadia, that's still taking up the right lane with traffic slow from the 134. In Sun Valley, some metal debris in the right lane on the 5 North before Glen Oaks Boulevard, and then Sherman Oaks, another stall on the 101 North after Woodman Avenue. This has got the 2 right lanes blocked. And then finally Anaheim on the 91 West before State College, that crash is blocking the 2 middle lanes there.
Save big during Lowe's 25 days of deals. Right now, get up to 50% off select artificial Christmas trees, holiday lights, and more. Lowe's knows deals every day. Valid through 12/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
USC quarterback Caleb Williams confirmed what a lot of people already knew. Williams announced today he is not playing in USC's Holiday Bowl game against Louisville on December 27th in San Diego. This means that last year's Heisman Trophy winner is entering the NFL draft. Williams could have returned for one more season. He's projected to be the number 1 pick in the 2024 draft. The Chicago Bears are expected to have the number 1 pick. The Carolina Panthers have the NFL's worst record at 1-11, but the Bears own Carolina's pick because of a trade. The 6-6 Rams are in the mix for a wild card playoff spot, but 3 of their last 5 games are on the road. At Baltimore, the New York Giants, and San Francisco. They're at home against Washington and New Orleans. Chargers linebacker Khalil Mack is 1 sack away from reaching 100 in his 10-year NFL career. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Single Moms Planet is a nonprofit organization dedicated to uplifting under-resourced single mom business owners and working mothers nationwide. Single Moms Planet offers comprehensive programs of financial literacy, business development, mentorship, and entrepreneurial training. They provide education, accountability, and hope. Single Moms Planet was founded by model, TV personality, and producer Nefertiri Plessy. Nefertiri felt firsthand the challenges that face single moms as she was raised by a working single mother. She learned that the most disadvantaged group in the United States are single mom families. According to the U.S. Census, 30% live under the poverty line. So she decided to do something about it, along with co-founder Cole Patterson. Their goal is to end the poverty cycle in single mother households through education, opportunity, and networking, providing family and child enrichment programs for under-resourced single-parent families. Single Moms Planet serves over 10,000 single moms and their children each year. Studies show that business development and financial literacy provide a positive environment for children and families, exposing them to new possibilities and opportunities. To attend one of their fun events, make a donation, or get more information, or if you need help as a single mom, please visit singlemomsplanet.org. That's singlemomsplanet.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed about what's really going on. Who's got next? And what not to miss in entertainment. You're listening to The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
inside the Raw Report on KBLA Talk 1580. Keep on moving. You know who's going to keep on moving? Cheryl Lee Ralph is going to keep on moving. We are getting ready to get into this conversation. Andy is he's immaculate, okay, with music, okay? He is immaculate. He understands the assignment each and every night. Andy, we appreciate you. We are just having a wonderful time having a conversation about Nelly and Ashanti and the fact that they did spin the block on love, and now they are pregnant, and it seems as though they are happily together, and hopefully will continue to be for some time, because I'm a lover of love. And we're having this conversation with an awesome entertainment contributor whom I love to have on the show. Chris Gunther is on the line with us. Chris, speaking of love and moving, Cheryl Lee Ralph, whom we know, we love, she has been, a staple in the entertainment business for quite some time, as we know. But she really opened up about her marriage and the fact that she has been married to this gentleman, Vincent Hughes, for nearly 20 years, and they have lived separately. She's been bi-coastal for quite some time, but just in case people did not know, he is a senator. He is a member of the Pennsylvania State Senate, and so he's handling his business. Okay, he is no, he's no chump. Okay, he's sitting, he's over there
right.
getting to the bag himself, and this is a stand-up man doing what he has to do. But his wife is in the entertainment business. So she basically, in an interview recently, said what works for their relationship and their marriage is the fact that they have lived separately. She says, we don't live together. She says, I see him every 2 weeks. And when I see him, I'm so happy to see him. And then when I'm leaving, I'm so happy to leave because I know I'll be back again. She said that that's what works for her relationship. That's what it's been for nearly 20 years. But now she is making the decision, or they are making the decision together, that she is going to uproot from California and move over there to Pennsylvania, where he is, and making that work. When is the last time you've heard something like that, though, Chris? Two people who are married living separately from one another.
Well, it's a very difficult topic to talk about because, I have never been in that situation. But I'll summarize it by saying this. I believe when you're married, you need to live in the same house. If I wanted to go back and forth and be long distance, I would have stayed at a dating rate. Mm-hmm. I would have stayed a long distance relationship. But Cheryl said it best. She said, this is what works for me, and this is what works for him. If they've established what works for them, I respect it. But just because I respect it does not mean that I agree with it. And it kind of makes me sit back and wonder, well, if you guys only see each other for, 2 weeks, whatever the case is, I wonder what goes on in between those 2 weeks. I'm not saying there's been infidelity or anything like that, but you can't possibly tell me that the emotional triggers are not there. Like, you can't tell me that there isn't some type of lack of emotion or there isn't a lack of love, because I can't happily be married to somebody and I can't live with them. I can't see them as often. Like, if you just working crazy, okay, I get all that. You got to leave a couple weeks at a time, cool. But when you come home, you home. And for 20 years, it's just hard for me to believe that, everything has been great when y'all have lived separately, because you're accustomed to living by yourself. Now, when you move in and, you guys are living all under one roof, let's see if that love is still there, because for 20 years, I'm only going to based off of what she said. For 20 years, it seems like y'all have been part-time spouses. Now you're going to be full-time spouses.
Okay, so you are not with it. I think the more I'm listening to you, Chris, I'm getting an idea of your stance just on relationships, marriage as a whole, and I respect it. Andy, did you have a thought on it?
I'm just curious to know Brother Chris's opinion on, like, let's say if one was a professional athlete, right? They're forever traveling. You know what I'm saying? They may be at home maybe once or twice throughout the week, but it's a little bit different from them living separately. It's just They're not in the house all the time. I'm curious to know how you feel about that.
A professional athlete still come home.
But in this situation, if there's an actual set schedule that she has, and she says every 2 weeks I'm there. Every 2 weeks I'm going home. Similar thing. She's coming home, but she's going to her other home after a little while.
My point exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth. She's going somewhere else right after that. When you're married, you live in the same roof. If you don't want to live in the same roof, don't be married. Now, I understand we living in 2023 and everyone has a difference of opinion and everyone tries to say, well, no, Chris, that's what worked for a different generation back then. Okay, cool. But let's just say this, Robin, let's say you are a happily married woman. Are you going to sit up here and tell me that you will be perfectly fine if your husband lives somewhere else for 20 years and you only seen him for 2 weeks?
Don't be putting me in it. No, I'm just playing.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm kidding. I'm just kidding with you. I do think that there's something to what Cheryl Lee Ralph has said that makes me feel like I understand her. I get it. Because to be honest with you, she got married the same year that I got married. So nearly 20 years, you're thinking like, okay, I see where she's coming from in the sense of he is established in his career and he is not leaving there. I am established in my career and not leaving here. We still love each other, want to be married. And as long as we're making this thing work, we are, it's not like, peace, I'll see you when I see you. We're actually setting a schedule. I can see what, especially when she says, I'm so happy when I know that I'm coming home to you. I'm so happy. And then when I'm leaving, maybe she is a little sad, but she's happy to know that when she's leaving, she's also going to, that means she's going to return again. So I can understand that, but I hear your point because where you actually build, in my opinion, where you build the relationship is and you know, all the isms that we have. What can you live with? What can you deal with? How do you compromise with one another? You don't learn those things until you actually live together. That's past dating. And that's, you know, I don't care what anybody says. When you're dating versus married to someone under the same roof, it's just totally different. You learn people's isms. So I get what you're saying. I think that is where the bond comes in. That glue is when you live together on a daily basis and you create a life together. But I understand what she's saying in terms of, you know, the schedule. Before you respond to that, Chris, let me go ahead and take this comment from Fahima. Hello to you, Fahima.
Greetings, Robin, and greetings to Chris. Very briefly, what happens? See, I think what a lot of people think is they're thinking conventionally people who have regular 9-to-5 jobs. If people who are in different industries that may require you to travel, and in her instance, her husband was a state legislature, he could not live anywhere else. Quick story, I have a mentor who was married. She lived in New York City. She married a state senator in Hawaii, right? So he wasn't going to move from Hawaii to New York, and she wasn't leaving her job as a professor to move to Hawaii. And he would be in New York most of the time, and she would be in Hawaii. People have to do what is appropriate for them, and we just think and conceptualize things in terms of how our lives are structured.
Yeah, I hear your point, and I think it's fair to say that I respect both of their positions because, again, mentioning her husband, Vincent Hughes, he's established in a particular state, and so is she. And it would be unfair just because he has certain residential policies that he has to adhere by. It would be unfair to ask her to uproot her life, even though she has an established career here in Hollywood. So I think it does whatever works for them. It does work. But thank you so much, Fahima. Chris, I do have a question for you while we still have you on the line. Do you see that? What do you feel that there would be no purpose in getting married if that is going to be the case? Do you feel like there is literally no reason for people to get married if they're going to continue to live separately?
I do, mainly from the standpoint, and I have to put this in here because this is just what I was raised in, this is what I believe, and this is what I know to be the truth. The reality of it is significantly difficult to say that you're married to somebody, but you don't live with them. Like, when you date somebody, cool, you can drive here, you can go back to your house, I'll go back to my house because we're dating. But when you're married, no, you're coming home to me every night as I'm coming home to you. And if I'm only seeing you, I don't know, maybe twice a week or something, that's kind of difficult because we're supposed to be married. So if we're not really going to do this thing the way it's supposed to be done, then why are we doing it in the first place? Life is too short to be wasting time with anybody. So if we're going to be married, let's be married. Let's do this the right way. But if we're not going to commit to each other and if we're not going to, you know, come home to each other every day, then what's the point of us doing it?
What if you married with the intention of let's just take Sheryl Lee Ralph and her husband Vincent Hughes out of this for a second. Let's just take a couple who are currently bi-coastal and their intention is to marry and, you know, live under the same roof in whomever's state, right? And once they got married, something happened, something changed, someone's career, something was extended or there was a promotion or there is something like that happened that caused them to stay in their respective states. What happens then, in your opinion?
Right there is when you need to compromise because, say, for example, you know, and I'll use me because this is something that I'm pretty sure is going to happen soon. Let's say, for example, I get a contract offer from a very good network, whether it be a Fox Sports, whether it be ESPN. My wife already knows we out, plain and simple. But let's say her job, for example, has her in a certain spot and she can't leave. What I'm going to do is make sure that I can find somewhere that is in the middle of that, where we still get what we want without missing out on our dreams and things of that nature. So that's where I would say find a compromise in the middle where you guys can still get what you want while not sacrificing what you've been working so hard for. And that's where teamwork comes in. Work together to achieve the common goal. Because the common goal at the end of the day is to win. And marriage is about teamwork.
So although I hear you and I agree with your statement, it sounds as though that's exactly what they're doing. It sounds as though they are making this thing work for them. So not to say that it's a contradiction in what you're saying, but it just sounds like on one hand, you're saying, nope, absolutely not. That's not going to work. Don't get married. Right. But then on the flip side, you're like, well, make it. You just got to find a happy medium. So but it sounds as though that's exactly what they did. Whether we agree with what they did or not, I'm just more so curious on the mindset that you have when it comes to marriage, living apart, living together and all that. I think most people would actually agree with you, to be honest with you. And I agree with that in a sense. But I feel like they have sort of made something work for their relationship. And now they're like, all right, well, she's already established herself very thoroughly, Emmy Award winning. She has done a lot of things successfully. She's like, okay, well, now I feel like I can pick up and you know, uproot my life and move to Pennsylvania with my husband.
Hey, the two words that was powerful in that soliloquy that you just said, their relationship.
100%.
Plain and simple. If it works for them, God bless them. You know, different strokes for different folks.
Yep.
I might not be a fan of it, but guess what? My last name is not Ralph.
Well said. Well, listen, Chris, thank you so much for joining me today. It is always great having these conversations with you. Let everybody know where they can find you online.
You guys can find me on all social media at Chris Gunther. And I want to put this plug out here. If y'all ain't following the Queen of Talk Radio, make sure y'all follow Robin Ayers, man, from KBLA 1580. The woman's doing an amazing job. Peace and love, Queen. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your night. I appreciate you. And when we come forward, I do want to get to this comment, this caller, JW, who's on the line, and we'll talk about more on the other side on KBLA Talk 1580. Stay right there.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl, BB, and you're listening to me on The Rob Report on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of The Rob Report with Robin Ayers when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, Maisha Cairo here, KBLA, live at Chase Bank on Crenshaw and Vernon for the In This Together tour with female business owners, a day of empowerment, community panels, and best of all, tips on building business from marketing to capital. Today I spoke with Tatiana, a community manager for JP Morgan Chase.
Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Tatiana Roberts. I am a community manager for JP Morgan Chase. I have to honestly say that this has been the most fulfilling position that I've ever had, where I get to give back to the community because I saw my mom's struggles. That's really what fuels what I do to make sure that that the community has all the access to the resources that my mother didn't have.
So for the mother who's in business, what are 3 quick tips you can give to ensure that they're on the right path to accessing financial support from a bank like Chase?
Say number 1, just make sure that you're checking your credit on a consistent basis and taking action to either fix your credit, maintain your credit, or rebuild your credit. The second thing would be budget. I know that B word is kind of like ugly for, right? A lot of people don't like that B word, but it has to be done. We need to tell our money where to go. The last thing is to build a network of supporters that are going to lift you up.
The community building here in Crenshaw is that network. So visit the Chase Community Center on Crenshaw and Vernon. Meet a banker today. Tell them about your business. I'm Maisha Cairo in the community for KBLA with JP Morgan Chase.
Celebrate Southern California's health equity heroes at California Black Health Network's 40th anniversary event at Hotel Indigo's 18 Social, Thursday, December 7th, 6 to 9 p.m. Join us as we celebrate 40 years of advancing health equity for Black Californians and honor local organizations like Black Women for Wellness, the California Black Women's Health Project, Riverside County PEI, and the African American Infant and Maternal Mortality Project, December 7th. Buy your tickets now at cablackhealthnetwork.org.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Can't you just see the smile on her face over the radio right now? Let's get back to more of the Rob Report with Robin Ayers on KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, let's go ahead and get to this caller, JW from South Central LA. Hey to you, JW.
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful, thank you. You about to break something down. I feel it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. See, just from a different perspective, because, see, I used to be a truck driver, right?
Yep.
And you have to take under consideration, that's a lot of travel time, time away from home, and maybe if a person was in the military, and if they was on a ship, and they have to go from port to port, you follow my point? So it depends on the perspective, the mentality, the attitude, and the more important thing, there are reasons or there are motives why, or the right intentions or the correct motives why they do what they want to do and have a short-term and long-term plan. And if they have a mutual agreement, and apparently she wants to get back with him or vice versa, maybe both of them as a couple, because see, one of the most value and important things other than good health or being wealthy is time. Because most people or kids or mothers or wives, they always want their husband's time or their father's time.
You know what,
so
JW?
Time is valuable.
You brought up a really good point, and it makes me question. It makes me wonder: would an arrangement like this work more for someone who is a little bit more established or older? They just want to kind of relax more in life. They're not necessarily running around young. You know what I mean? Maybe they've raised their children already, older couples. Is this something that you feel is more conducive to that?
Okay, just to answer your question, be real specific, because when you first raised your topic, you was asking about when a person's returning up to settle down at what age, back between maybe 20 and 30, 30 to 40, or maybe 40 to 50, right? And the answer is it varies depending on the individual and the situation, right? You know. And, because you have a young fool or a grown fool, you follow me? But the point is, people mature at different levels and stages in life.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that, and I appreciate the comment. This is, I'm just talking about overall, just in general. Obviously, we know that we can't apply everything, every rule to every person. Everybody is different, especially when you take two people into account. Like, they're two different personalities. They have to be on the same wavelength. But I appreciate your comment, JW.
And they also, I'll make this real brief.
Yes.
Give me less than a half a minute. I'll make it real brief because I really answered all these questions at one time, but I guess you didn't get the point. I'm going to sum it up and make it real, plain and simple.
Yeah.
The point is, if they have the right intentions, the right motives, and they have a short and long-term plan, yes, it's going to work out for them, depending on the individuals. And most individuals, no matter who they are, they can be at various different age brackets. They can start young and don't waste their youth. Take advantage of their youth and have a goal where it comes in fruition in the mid-30s or the mid-40s.
Here.
And they can retire young.
JW, I hear your point. I agree with you, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for always tuning into the Rob Report. We appreciate you so much. There was another comment that I wanted to get to in here. Jewel, she asked, what are your thoughts on separating from marriage and staying in a separated state until you meet someone that you want a life with? Well, feel like y'all should go ahead and make it happen. Go ahead and separate for real, so that you can open yourself up to someone else, if that's what you should want. In the poll, it looks like most of you guys believe that you can successfully be married and live apart. I agree with you. But I do think that people have to be in a more settled, established mindset, at least, in order to do something like that. Because if you're running around, you never know. You never know. People are interesting. Listen, I will not be here tomorrow or Wednesday. We will have Keith Underwood, who's filling in for me. So I will be back with you all on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to that. Truly enjoy you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to Chris Gunther as well. Don't change the channel, the dial. You can't do that because you already know Zoe Williams is up next with the Fire Show. Remember, today and every day forward, be a blessing.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton. Here's the latest on the Black Information Network. A new